You
Well,
lied.
I tried my best. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nightmares Incarnate, a conspiracy of demons. We are going to continue for about probably maybe an hour. Unfortunately, Jai has gone. What were Dan Moss and Bagwell doing in the storeroom?
They were working on his arm.
Yeah, that's right. So we're gonna have to. We can't skip forward in time until he's back anyway. So we're gonna cut over to a different situation brewing in the living room with potentially disastrous consequences, but we'll see how it goes.
Why disastrous complicated?
Because
Why?
because of her mother's extremely vindictive. Like, it's not that hard to understand.
It's fine. He'll just also res up the Orb Weaver herself. It's okay.
Yeah. So people are just hanging out in the hallway. The Orb Weaver's daughter has what appears to be some sort of clay tablet, which she is etching symbols into as she leans against a lamppost.
Yeah, I think I sort of like Laron sort of walks over with like a glass of wine in his hands and sort of looks at the clay tablet for a moment. What are you making?
Notes
About?
about everyone here. My mother's the goddess of secrets. It's my job to keep track of information.
So she's tasked you with keeping track of everyone here while. God, that sounds really dull.
There are worse things that could be done. I mean, I would rather be able to go to high parties and socialize than do what Shira does, where she's forced to slum around in sewers and gather information from criminals and other people.
But does that not excite you? To me, that sounds like fun, trudging through every layer of society, sort of experiencing everything the world has to offer. No,
I mean, experiencing everything positive the world has to offer, I don't see a problem with that. But
gotta take some of the good with some of the bad, right? You can't have socialite parties with fancy ballroom music and fake laughter while at the same time not trying to slum it out at a local tavern somewhere where you're drinking ale that's more water than actual beer. It's all part of the same sort of situation anyway, just viewed on two different sides.
I suppose, I mean, taverns are good for gossip, but my mother also prefers that I stay safe to an extent. She kind of brushes her pink hair behind her head. One of her elvish ears kind of perking up a bit as she looks you over curiously. Alright, is that other glass of wine for me?
If you are allowed to drink, I don't know if your mother's going to try and stop me if I hand you this glass. Will she? And I sort of dangle the glass in front of her.
There are most things I do listen to my mother when it comes to, but if there's one thing my mother will not stop me from doing, it's enjoying a nice glass of wine with a handsome man. She clinks the glass against yours and takes a sip.
Yes. Shall we sit down somewhere? It's kind of aggravating standing here in the middle of the hallway. Too many eyes.
Well, let's start the conversation here and then we'll see.
Oh, I think you misunderstand. It's more of I've walked all day. Can we just sit down on a bench somewhere? It doesn't.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah,
sit
I
down
understand.
Here. Yeah. Just sort of gestures. Oh, where are we going?
Well, she was gonna go in the living room. But okay.
Yeah, that works. We can go.
Yeah, you see a giant snake man asleep by the fire.
Sort of Yeah, I sit down and wait. Is he sitting on the chair? Or is he like
No,
all the way up in the
he's in
corner?
the corner. He's curled up like a snake would be.
I'll sit over here, not to
He's
disturb
wearing
him.
like a sweater as well.
Yeah, and I think I just sort of like lean to the side. Do you think he's gonna wake up if we talk in here?
No, she says louder than you. He's almost in a state of torpor. His kind doesn't do well in this sort of climate.
Is he gonna be all right?
He's presumably been living here as long as the master and mistress of the house have. So 10 years, or give or take. But he's, well, all Nagas for a matter of fact. I don't want to bore you. I could talk about science and stuff all day, but basically their blood is thinner than other races. They're reptilian.
Oh, please, no. I do cancel listen. Just I apologize if my scientific knowledge is not as great as my creative knowledge, if you will.
Well, I mean, there's many different styles of learning. Not one of them is not superior to another. I'm not Farron Al-Mansur, who views scholarship as the end-all be-all.
He has always sort of been the bookworm type, if you will.
Well, it is what it is. But yeah, he's ectothermic, or at least partially. He can't generate enough heat on his own.
So he has to recharge by a heat source to live through the day. Am I getting that right?
Basically, the closer we get to true winter, and Nick's Peril next month, 8 days away. And speaking of the ball that's coming with it, he'll probably sleep for a couple weeks at that point. It isn't until thaw begins to come when they become more active. Songyin, as a country, shuts down during parts of the winter. Practically. Luckily for them, most of it is in the tropics.
It's kind of interesting. How did they manage to keep everything running while shutting down an entire country for multiple months? It seems counterproductive to me. Why not move somewhere where it's warm all year round?
Well, it is warm almost all year round, but mountains exist everywhere, and plateaus. Those are the places that tend to get cold. She kind of takes out a small spider web and moves it between her fingers. Plus, I know you have one. I apologize. I should be honest, I'm coming into this with more knowledge about you than you probably have about me. That's the nature of who I am and what I am. But I know you have a piece of their technology. In terms of advancement, their society is, I wouldn't say leagues, but to underestimate the difference and quality of the technology would be an understatement.
Yeah, I know. Have you ever seen one of their weapons?
A black powder weapon?
Yeah.
I have seen one. I haven't seen yours, though.
Sort of just pull it out. I got this thing when I was... Oh, what's it going to be? I think it's about 7 years ago or so by now. I remember my dad brought it home for me. He'd been in some skirmish or other. It was after they were cleaning up some troubles occurring inland, and one of the soldiers had brought this weapon with them, and he sort of he gave it to me and told me that perhaps I could make a better use of it than he could because he was too tired to learn new things or whatever. I don't know really what he was on about at the time, but I realized it was perhaps a small attempt at bonding more with me. Unfortunately, I quickly outgrew the small knowledge he had about the weapon itself, and I love him, my dad. I really do, but yeah, it's a lot of things have been kind of hard to bond over these past couple of years. I've sort of broken away from the traditional way of our family. But him and I sort of hand her the gun.
Yeah, she'll take it in her hands, kind of eyeing it up with her red eyes curiously.
Do not point the tube at your face. Very important.
She kind of adjusts her hands as you say that, as she was doing that, and then she chuckles a little bit.
Oh. What's this? Bang! Laron accidentally kills the old weave's daughter.
Yeah.
Well, in some ways, you should count yourself lucky. Not that I want a pity party, but I don't know my father at all.
If you got daddy issues, Laron notes down.
Yeah. I can fix her. Yeah.
He's just like you for real.
Yeah. The thing just kind of chuckles at that. Not having a father seems to be something that is especially present in current company at the moment. I feel like a lot of the company that you and I apparently tend to keep are missing some sort of parental figure one way or another, or both of them in that case. I mean, just look at Gilrock. The man is talented with music, but good God, does he have issues with his family?
Such is the nature of him being an orphan, much less an orphan of a time-traveling individual and somebody who came from beyond this universe. She then quickly puts a hand over her mouth. Sorry.
Wine got your tongue? It's okay.
No, it's a bit stilted being here.
How do you mean?
It's not that you're not enjoyable people. I know literally everything about most of you. I have files that I read before I came here. Before I have lived with Vanessa for the past 6 months.
Can I put a hand up to sort of stop her as she's like about to ramble off?
Yes.
Yeah. I understand that perhaps you know more than maybe I even do about myself, but perhaps you'd give me a chance to learn about you, about who you are as a person, because you've sort of been, well, I feel like shadowing is a fair word to use, but don't take it in a negative connotation. The group and the extended group within the palace as well, but never really saying much. Who are you as a person?
I mean,
If you have to disregard your mother for a moment.
She kind of pauses, disregarding my mother. That's
If you had to put aside the fact that you're the old weaver's daughter, what lies beneath, other than being the old weaver's daughter?
I don't know. It's hard to say when your mother, and I'm not trying to change the subject, but your mother's a dominant force in your life. She has a certain impact on how people perceive you, yes?
She may have that on others, yes. Remember, I'm the one. I sort of tap my head, like kind of fondly remember I'm the one who ran away. But yes, she is a very dominant force of personality, I would agree.
My mother's a goddess. So I don't really get to define myself outside of her. I can play a character. He kind of looks a bit dejected now, thinking, I mean, I know I like wine and music and reading. I do love reading. That was something I inherited, but
Well, I can already tell you one thing about yourself that you haven't sort of noted down. You seem to enjoy the acquisition of knowledge, not just because your mother is your weaver, but just you telling me about our friend over here. Unfortunately, his name eludes me, but I saw for a moment that your face sort of lit up as you started talking about explaining the different subtypes of the creatures that they are. I mean, that is something that you can note down about yourself. That is not necessarily that has something to do with who your mother is. That's more something to do with who you are. And as you mentioned yourself as well, you enjoy wine, you enjoy reading, and you enjoy listening to music. Have you considered pursuing any of these avenues whenever you are not spying for your mother?
well, the fortunate thing about spying is it involves, much to some people's dismay, a lot of reading. And I mean a lot of it. I love that aspect, personally. But I have considered taking up an instrument. My mother thinks of it as a useless skill. She prefers me to play a courtesan rather than somebody who...
A famous musician or a famous actor or a famous writer, for that matter, can be just as, if not more effective sometimes than merely another pretty face. I think, and this is merely an offer that I'll extend to you, and you can choose whether you wish to accept it or not. I can teach you how to play an instrument if you would like. I am well versed in more or less any instrument you can really think of. I also paint, if that is something you wish to dabble in, although that takes a bit longer than just learning music.
So, what instruments do you play?
Oh, one sec, let me check. He plays...
Laron says that in character.
Yeah.
Let me check
So-
my list.
He starts counting off. Flute, lute, lyre, shawm, war gong, xylophone. Just like starts listing like 20 instruments.
Wow. And where have you traveled to? They don't teach wargong here or in the surrounding countries. You'd have to go all the way past the Claw Peninsula to Songyan.
When I was a little younger, I had a bit more of a rebellious phase, if you will. I mean, technically, I'm still rebelling, quote unquote. He does like the goose eyes. I had an absolutely violent discussion with my mother. We yelled the most worst things at each other, and I got so fed up with the fact that she was trying to control every aspect of my life that I left. I grabbed the money that I had access to, and I traveled. And I traveled as far as any ship or horse or whatever could take me. I wanted to see everything because I was convinced that things were different and could be different somewhere else other than just within the palace walls. And it brought me to such foreign places as Songyin, for an example. And I actually managed to travel to a small city that lied on the border between, I believe it was Gale and the Chaos Mountains as well. It I saw a lot of things during my travels. I even went to the Underdark and saw some things I wish I hadn't seen as well. But
I'm well aware of what happened in the Underdark, which is another question that I do have to ask. Why are you flirting with me? Aren't you due to be married?
because me and my wife are polyamorous, or well, we're not married yet, but because we are polyamorous.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
If that is a deal breaker for you, I deeply apologize. I will stop in that case.
Very few things are a deal breaker. You should see the secrets I've had to see. People are full of flaws.
Depends on what you consider a flaw, doesn't it?
I don't consider that a flaw particularly. You're missing my meaning. Even the best of us, Akarsi Jaluja, had his incidents in his past, but that's his place to talk to you about, not mine.
Oh please, I have to know what dear dad has done. That is so awful. Did he get caught with another woman, or
No.
what happened?
He loves your mother too much. Your father was responsible, incidentally, for the deaths of 15 children during a raid on a demonic cult. His soldiers killed them as they believed them to be corrupted, and he covered it up.
Sort of looks at the old weaver's daughter for a long moment. Sorry, what is her name? I keep on just wanting to call her that.
She hasn't told anyone her name. You know her by Orb Weaver's daughter. You haven't asked her name.
Weaver's daughter.
Yeah.
She says it very nonchalantly too, to be clear. Like, this is very minor to her compared to some of the other things she knows.
Yeah. Just sort of looks at her for a long moment. That is not what I was expecting, but I suppose I shouldn't be as surprised as I actually feel at this moment. I know Father has done some awful things to ensure that things stayed the same and we remained in power as we were. And I realize in that bid for power that sometimes you have to do things that you very much come to regret later in life.
He did not, to be clear, he did not make this order. He merely covered for those who made the decision. But your father's what I would consider a mostly good man. Has nothing on some other people.
Yeah, although shocked at this revelation, I've not lost my bearings. Which also makes me realize that although you've been traveling with us for quite a while, forgive me if this is being too personal, but what is your name?
Which one?
To be fair, Chris, sorry that I'm interrupting. To be fair, she hasn't been traveling with us. You met her 3 days ago.
Yeah.
No, she's also been she's been in other areas, hasn't she? If
she has correct? In the background, yes, but it's more,
yeah.
But like you Laron would been. Yeah.
We haven't known that she's been there.
Yes.
Fair enough. You've been traveling with us for a couple of days now. What is your name?
Do you want my true name or the name I'm going by right now?
I want the name you feel the most comfortable disclosing to me. If you can't disclose your real name for...
You're going to need to give me your hand.
carefully reach his hand out.
He gently grasps it. Do you solemnly swear by ties of blood and bonds of kin that you will not reveal my name?
I do so swear.
You see a glow of purple energy surge through her arm into yours, and she says, Aranea, or Spider. My name is Aranea.
That is a beautiful name, and I realize probably one that I can't call you anywhere else except if we are having a conversation such as this.
That would be the correct answer.
Yeah. So what do I call you in public, if you will?
You can call me A, Orb Weaver's daughter. Or...
Seems a little impersonal, no?
Yes, but that's what most people refer to me as. I've always been partial to the name Miriam. Miriam, the Middle Eastern one, just to be clear.
Yeah.
That's what I often use in disguise, so you can call me that if you want, but that is my truest of names, the name my mother gave me before my father perished.
I have to wonder a little bit. You said you know almost everything, right?
I do.
You know everything, or almost everything?
Almost everything. My mother is not perfect, none of the gods are, but for example, I can tell you that on the month of Sultanal 20 years ago, Sandeep broke into the house of a wealthy merchant in this neighborhood and was part of a murder robbery that saw the death of 2 parents and left an orphan. I can tell you that Changla here was a prostitute. Luckily he's asleep, so he can't hear what I'm saying, before he was kidnapped and sold onto the Black Road. I can tell you that Farron Al-Mansur still loves his brother dearly and wants to go back to their relationship. And Ravarshi has a soft spot that he'll never admit to trying to mend it, but they're too obstinate to realize. Typhonios is going to be murdered by his queen if things don't change. And these are things that have to stay between us. Be clear.
She really spilling all the beans to this guy. Damn.
Yeah, like
one glass of wine tells what the dirt she has on everyone.
yeah.
So you know, Laron, you're very cute. So you know, this is everyone's deepest, darkest secrets. This is your dad. This is Ty's. You know everything about everyone, but don't tell anyone, please.
The magic will actually prevent Laron from telling anyone.
Like, you're literally bound or whatever, so if you try and like say one of the secrets, your head's gonna explode, but that's like a small issue.
To be fair, does he only swore to not say her name? He hasn't made a promise to not tell any of this information she is freely giving.
She is not, I want to be clear, the Orb Weaver and her daughter are neutral characters. They're not good aligned, so she may have put a little bit more caveats of that spell than just that one thing.
Okay, I'm just saying. It's just funny to think about me like, hey, Larry, come to wrist this chick up. He hits her one glass of wine and she just goes, "Oh yeah, your dad like killed a bunch of kids."
No, okay, we're gonna clarify.
We get it.
It was being the funny.
Yeah. I promise I will not tell anyone the information that you have disclosed to me, but I appreciate, although I feel some sort of metaphysical tie has been made between us, that you are willing to disclose this information to me.
I'm interested
appreciate
in
that.
I'm interested in you. You're harder to figure out than some. And even with your record, there are things I don't understand and I'd like to know more about. Some people are simple, not necessarily stupid, when I should be clear. Typhonios is a simple man. He's a genius, but he cares about his husband, weapons, frogs, and basically getting a job well done and being approved by his queen. You, however, you're complicated. Interesting.
What am I to you? A mystery to solve or something? Because that's kind of what it sounds like to me. And like, there's definitely like a cheeky smile on his face as he's saying that. He's just sort of teasing her.
She'll stand up and come a bit closer. Do you accept as she leans onto you?
Sure. Just sort of like still has his head a little bit back, just so he can like see her full expression, just sort of waiting for an answer.
Yeah, she's
sitting
smirking now. She says, "There are certain mysteries that, yes, I would like to get to the bottom of, find out if rumors are true."
You only learn by doing, but what can I disclose to you now that, well, is safe to hear for other ears?
She'll stand up, kind of lifting her leg off of your lap as she does so, and goes back to her chair, sitting back down gently as she takes another sip of the wine. I want to understand why you chose to go to the Underdark. Not to the Underdark, to the Black Road. Ugh, it's not the Underdark. Gotta remember.
Legally distinct. Legally distinct.
Legally distinct. Legally distinct. Anyway, why would you?
Sake.
Why it is?
It is, yeah.
They are different.
You heard that? You fucking heard any of that?
Yeah.
You snitch on Watsu.
They're gonna
hear shit.
They're gonna send the Pinkertons after me now.
You didn't hear shit. Okay.
Yeah. Please ask your question, Aranea.
Why would you go to the Black Road? It's a place of terror for almost everyone of your kind, of Tien. The fear, I mean, what happens there when you get deeper is worthy of the terror, in my opinion.
I think to understand why I went to the Black Road also needs some background context. As I explained to you, I was younger, I had a bit of a temper, and I was frustrated with my mother, and I wanted to do everything I could to spite and hurt her. It ended up being my final destination on my sort of world trip, if you will. And what I saw down there was, in equal measure, horrifying, and I won't lie to you, and I realize this may make me sound a little psychopathic, but it was also wonderful to behold. During my time down there, I've never written so much music and painted so many pictures as I did there. I was filled with an endless stream of creativity because you just see things down there that you see nowhere else.
I hope, he says with a bit of a sarcastic grin, that the demonic cities were not your inspiration.
I promise they were not, but all the sort of bioluminescent fauna, the gigantic caverns where if you yelled, you could hear your own voice echo for about half an hour or so. It was fantastic. I saw vistas of things that I wasn't even sure could exist down there, and I don't know if it's because of demonic corruption or something third entirely, but it was wonderful. And one of the reasons why I enjoyed it so much is on the Black Road, you find every type of person imaginable. Like, I've sat down with species I never thought I would ever commune with, let alone have a casual chat with. I sat down and had a beer with a mind flayer. A mind flayer. Can you imagine? It's seeing a mind flayer
good
up
one
here.
or a hive one? Because
I believe a good one, because I believe a hive one would have tried to eat my brain.
Probably that's why I was. But she laughs a little bit.
Yeah. A race I'd only read about small snippets of, because, you know, any sort of mind flare that usually pops up is either killed or kills a lot of people and then disappears.
Yeah.
It was
your mother and father, even if a mind flayer protested to be good, would not abide their presence. So I can understand why.
Yeah. It's that's kind of that's the reason why I went down there. It started with spite, and then it's ended with an endless flow of creativity, and I suppose a hand in marriage as well, although I guess we'll have to see. Her father still hasn't approved of me because I am from upstairs, if you will.
Well, considering Tien's going to try to go to war with that kingdom and conquer it, it's unsurprising.
Yeah, it's although I really enjoy her company and she enjoys mine, I believe it is a bit of a pipe dream at the moment. It is not something I am expecting to go through.
I don't think so. I think, if anything, you two get married, you could prevent a war entirely. Speak to Behir, talk about diplomatic annexation rather than wasting people's lives fighting in the Black Road. Bring people in like who he aspires to be, his god ancestor, Natir, the Great Tiefling. Well, yours as well, but that's half of literally everyone in this country, she says with a small smirk.
Yeah, I never really thought about it in that way. I guess it's an option that I could explore, but I don't get why we have to, and this is me perhaps just having been out of the political discussions for a while, but I don't get why we have to invade them in the first place. It seems like a forced war that nobody wants, and I don't blame her father for trying to prevent it from happening.
Well,
You know, it's
whatever war was going to happen is on hold. Conflict until the demon crisis is resolved. Most wars are on pause throughout the world.
yeah. That is sort of the overarching issue, I suppose.
But you're different in that way. Even for some of the most enlightened individuals, regardless of how kind they may be, particularly from this country or the countries surrounding us. Gilrock's country, imperialism is a second nature. The desire to conquer, the desire to expand. But that's one of the things that makes you fascinating, is you, despite being born into the family you are, two of the highest ranking families in Tien, you don't feel that. I don't find it necessarily to be a mystery to unravel, but it is a curiosity. It makes you special, he says.
Special feels feels like you're putting too much emphasis on what is essentially just being anti-war, if you will. But I think just it feels like such a waste to me. You know, we have these. Admittedly, some cultures can be rather macabre, if you will. But we have these differing cultures with their own music, their own stories, their own like creative life, and their own sort of national identity. And it feels like people just want to strip that down to being one flat facade. And to me, that's boring. Life is all about the new things, the way things change and never actually stay the same. And if I had to look at a uniform world where everyone believed in the same thing and nothing was different and everything was just never changing and static, I think I would go insane. So it's a condensation of my larger issue with the idea of imperialism and conquering other cultures and such. This is just one situation that I would want to not occur, but it's something that's occurring all over the world, unfortunately, and it saddens me because it feels like we could do so much more with the things we have access to. We could start diplomatic exchanges, we could start trading art and culture and history with each other, but yet it's just more war, more fighting for the same scraps of land that has sort of always been fought for. And who's to say that that parcel of land that they won, they're going to be able to keep until tomorrow? That's just another 100 soldiers' lives wasted on attempting to capture something that in reality has no greater significance. Do you see what I mean?
There's a lot of things that I see. The futility of many wars is obvious. The human goblin wars in the Western continent, the horrific acts that take place there are distressing to even read about. So I can understand. But I would not judge your peers too harshly. I would... I think you have a valuable point of view, something that's worthwhile. And I have a little present to share with you.
Oh, please, is it another glass of wine? I'm dying for one. I sort of grab the bottle and I pour myself another one. Do you want another?
I need to keep myself cogent, but half of one won't bother.
Please, I'm sure you'll stay cognizant. You're half god after all, and I just pour her a full glass.
Yeah, she'll smirk a bit and say, well, I want you to have this, and she'll hand over a book to you.
Okay.
It's very old and bound with gold inlaid thread, and a leather-bound cover that is slightly dusty. Flecks are a bit coming off, but it seems in pretty decent condition. It is written in Old Elvish.
So, are you going to tell me what it is, or do I have to open it and then have my face explode or something?
She opens the book for you and then kind of gives you a very sour look at that comment.
Just sort of, I give her a small smile. I'm sorry, an attempt at a jest, I suppose, that was not very well received.
No, because whenever people find out I'm a spy, they tend to say things like that. I'm not going to gas you. I apologize if that was taken in that way, that I was not referring to the fact that you disguise yourself. That is not my... I
You know
understand.
what?
Just look at
I,
the
yeah,
look
I,
at the book. Just look at the
yeah, I,
book.
I close the book and I look at her instead and I say, I'll leave it be. I'm sorry. Okay? And then I open the book back up. What
Yep.
does it say?
It is a explorers. It is the Explorer's Guide to the Black Road, written by Pharaoh Ater-Serenes the Seventh of the 16th dynasty of the Disney Empire.
I begin reading.
Okay. It is a detailed summary of cities and locations as they existed around 3,000 years ago during the foundations of Elven what influences modern Elvish culture in this continent, discussing how there was less demon worship. Some cities still had some demons, but it was not, Lolth had not taken control. That much is obvious to you. It talks about different cuisines, and you learn quite a bit about some of the geological origins, which the pharaoh appeared to have figured out, which are lost now today to today's science. Discussing how through an uplift of a limestone base cavern into mountains, an area in the center was hollowed out into a massive cave system that extends across the entirety of the dragon's spine.
I get swallowed up in the book for a couple of minutes and I close the book fairly quickly. So all of a sudden I'm like, I am so sorry. That was very interesting reading. I got caught up in that for a minute. Thank you for this. I've really appreciated. This is really interesting.
I was hoping you'd appreciate it. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I've really thank you very much. I really do appreciate this, and I very gingerly put it into my bag.
She'll place a hand on your hand and then kiss your hand and say, "Well, I am going to have to bid you good night. We can find out about other rumors another day, but I am the type of girl who believes until waiting for the third date. If that's okay with you."
He just sort of rolls his eyes and smiles and says, why would that ever be an issue?
She shrugs.
Yeah, and
Some nobles get really handsy really fast. Part of being a spy, and that's not on you. Before you get offended.
I look at her and I wish I could say I don't know what you mean, but I know what you mean. I've had more than once I've experienced, shall we say, unwanted approaches or advances that I was not expecting from the person in question. It is not a pleasant thing when that occurs.
Yes, it isn't. I want you to know the last thing, and this is just because of some of the things you said, and I hope this doesn't come across as me saying your anger wasn't valid, but your mother does love you. I hope you know that.
Oh, I know. I love her too, and I have sort of mellowed out a little bit, getting a little older, but what she did is still, well, it's not unforgivable, but it is something that
She needs to apologize for.
She needs to apologize, to atone, if you will, and it's not good enough if she only apologizes to me. It has to stop all the way down to Mina. I don't want to see all that spite, all that sort of what seems like hatred, but it's just some sort of misguided attempt at love. It's it's merely causing more damage to us than it is, helping us. But I do not wish to keep you. Please, enjoy your evening.
I did enjoy it. This has been one of the better nights thus far. Trust me.
Here's to many more.
I'll talk to you again, and I'm expecting that music lesson tomorrow. I'll exit the room with a smile.
Just sort of sits, when you like hold the glass of like wine just like by the top of the rim while looking into the fire, considering what has been talked about tonight, realizing he's been given like 6 pieces of information that is like world-shattering knowledge all on its own. He's like, please.
Well, think about who you're flirting with.
Yeah, true.
She has to deal with this for literally every single person she meets. She knows everything about everyone.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna cut over to
the Gilly Rock.
Well, no, Gilrock and Baytar upstairs roll some rolls.
Nah, I'm a sleeper after that. Ain't no fucking way.
Damp Moss isn't here. What do we do? Oh no, I play everyone else. Oh god.
None of that. I mean, we don't need to roleplay it. We can have. I mean, what I would have back will do is just take the measurements needed to start working on the fucking thing. You chat with mom. I don't know. Do some more with Adeben, maybe.
I guess
maybe Laron wants to chat with his socially anxious crippled brother. I don't fucking
yeah, absolutely. I'm like, I think he's just gonna sit for a moment and then he's like, where the hell is Adeben actually? I need to get him some bitches.
No Iskoreal, goddamn. Rude as fuck.
Yeah, and I send a message to Adeben and I'm like, come to the living room.
You gotta see me to do that, man. I'm sorry. You gotta find me.
What sending? Sorry, that's what I meant.
You have a sending stone, so he has your sending number.
Okay.
The Skype noise.
You video chat me? Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all's phones, most nobles can't even afford that. Like the hollow crystals. That's some expensive shit.
Couldn't I just have made one? But okay, anyways. I get the text, and he texts back. I'm in the garden by the fountain. Why do you ask?
Because I want to talk to you, brother.
You don't get a reply.
I go looking for him. I'm coming for you, Adeben. You're gonna have social interaction whether you like it or not.
You see Iskoreal talking to Farron.
Okay, don't care. Keep moving.
Rue, he's also your brother.
Yeah, but he's a mid brother. He had PTSD or whatever.
He still does, but that asshole. God, you're a dick.
He had PTSD or whatever.
Sorry.
You see Iskoreal talking to Peril. Cool. I don't give a fuck.
Adeben, where are you?
You see Adeben just like hobbling onto his cane, trying to get away.
Come here.
Stand still. It's the typical, like, if I stand very still, maybe he won't notice me.
Yeah, just like huge. What is it? It's Adeben, younger brother, I believe, right?
Adeben is just older than Isko, Mehmet, and Shurakan.
So
yeah.
Laren's one of the oldest brothers. Like, I think you're second or third oldest, Laren.
Yeah, you're younger than Salman and the other guy.
Yeah, and Salman and Valorane are the only two who are older than you.
So you're the third child.
Yeah, you're the third child.
The one that got away. I'm like, what's up? How are you? And I just sort of like, I grab your shoulders and I just like place you down onto the bench.
Hi,
Come on, talk to me. It's been a little while since we've talked. What's got you all in a? Why do you seem so excited? Where is all this emotion coming from?
What? I.
Yeah.
Gilroy got possessed by some. Gilroy got possessed by something.
Do you know what it was?
No, didn't ask. I walked away.
Why?
It's none of my business.
I mean, fair enough, I guess, but like, aren't you, interested in finding out some gossip or some slander or something?
Who would I tell? I didn't get to bring my dog.
I mean, you could tell one of us. I mean, we're all your brothers here. Well, some of us are.
He gives you like the look of like.
What? Come on.
I'm not like you, Laron. I don't like speaking, and I'm not good at it.
I know, but I mean, don't you want to, at least talk to us? I mean, we are your family.
Yeah, but what? I mean, it's like thinking. No offense, Laron. You're all very impressive. Way more impressive than I. It's just sometimes when I speak, maybe a bit more when it comes to like Mehmet than you. When I speak to you all, it feels like I'm speaking to a child. When it comes to intelligence, none of you understand the things I care about or find interesting or know about, and it's the same with Dad. He's always like, oh, we'll make a warrior out of you yet, but he can't even solve an easy mathematical equation about finding the circumference of the world. Well, I could do that in 2 minutes, and I don't know, I feel like I don't fit in the family or anything, because you're also good at fighting or music or talking to people like you, while I can build things, and I'm intelligent and smart, and that's it. So I like to sit in my room by myself because I feel dislocated from you all.
Okay.
That's why I don't speak with you that much, and to be fair, you haven't been around that much.
Fair. 3 points. First off, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that you've been made to feel that way. Secondly, honestly, who gives a shit what Dad thinks? I mean, look at the Met. I mean, he's trying to do music or whatever, even though Dad wanted him to be in the army. He's good at it, yeah, but like, you're a tinkerer and you're really good at what you do. Like, I've seen a lot of the stuff around the world, and like, I always come back and I think to myself, you have usually made something better or just as good as what I saw in the other countries. Like, you may not be physically impressive or perhaps have the talking gifts, but your tinkering ability and your ability to innately understand machines and just constructs and anything sort of mechanical, anything that requires any sort of finesse in that sort of department, you are the man for it. And although I don't say this often, I am proud of what you do, little brother. Very proud. It is impressive what you do. As for understanding what you speak of, I understand that it may feel frustrating talking to someone who doesn't understand, but try and help me understand in that case.
Well, it's never been that difficult to talk to you because you've kind of always been different. Not in like a bad way or anything, but it's like it's mostly been with Furkan comes by my room a lot, even though I keep putting up traps and locks on the doors. He keeps somehow not being hit by them and thinking that it's some sort of game between us. And Iskoreal, like I know he means well, but he'll come and be all happy and jovial and talk about be like, oh, tell me about your day. But if I go, I can't figure out the cooling system of this mechanical ogre that I'm making, or this automaton suit that I'm trying to make that will attach to your nervous system and give you the capabilities of a mind flayer, he just looks at me like I'm speaking a different language. And it's the same with Dad. Every time I try and come and be excited and say, "Oh, Dad, look, I made this machine that would have the power of the highest level spell," he just looks at me and says, "But why didn't you just pick up a sword?" And
To clarify, Iskoreal is extremely intelligent. He just knows about nature. He doesn't know technology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Adeben's intelligence score is 24, so still he's pretty smart. So it's just it feels like I know everyone. I know you know this, but like how everyone around outside of the family and such see you as this sort of like black sheep because you decided to travel, which I did too. To be honest, I kind of wish I could as well. I mostly feel like that myself because at least you can get along with people, and at least you sort of again have these capabilities that relate to our family. Well, I don't know where my things came from. I know Mom is smart, but still she doesn't do these things, and we both know Dad wouldn't know a fucking dodecahedron from a rectangle. So I don't know. And this takes his cane and clinks it at like the shin, the leg. It's
Yeah, I understand. In regards to getting along with other people, Adeben, this is something perhaps that you need to hear, is that while you want other people to take an interest in what you do, perhaps you should also attempt in some way or another to take an interest in what they do. A good example would be what happened to Gilrock, what you just described. You didn't really, stick around, make sure that he was okay or anything like that. You just sort of walked away immediately. It's almost as if, perhaps, do you care?
Well, I walked away. I removed the magic on him. I walked over when it happened and removed the magic. It's just I don't know him.
But you could.
I don't know. I don't know any of these people. I don't know. What am I supposed to say? Hi, did you?
Yeah.
You were just possessed. Oh, tell me about it.
It could be, well, okay. Set up a hypothetical situation. I'm Gilrock. You're you, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You've just taken me out of the possession, and I sort of look to you and say, "Thank you so much. That was really awful." What would you say in response?
Walk away.
Yeah, but do you see that's not an answer, and that's not that's not an answer, and if it was one, that's not a good answer to make, because that kind of seems like you are uncaring of other people. I understand that perhaps not feeling super comfortable with approaching new people is it can be a daunting task, but if you just walk away and refuse to talk to someone, they can interpret it as you not liking them, perhaps, or finding them annoying or frustrating. I know that's not what you think because, well, I've grown up with you, but someone like Gilrock or Veitara or anyone else for that matter, they might see it as hostility or like standoffishness. I think if I could ask you the next time, if you'd make a little promise to me, just try and say a couple of words and be like, hey, how's it going? How are things going?
What if they say
And-
something back? What am I supposed to do then?
You just listen. You listen, and if they ask you to, whether you agree or disagree on something, you give them your honest opinion. You know, if someone says, I've seen blue all over today. I just hate the color blue. Do you hate the color blue? And then, you answer, you don't. Then you say, no, I don't hate the color blue. And then they'll continue talking to you, be like, why do you not hate the color blue? It's fairly easy to keep a conversation going without having to engage too much in it if it's because you feel like it's hard to say a lot of things. Just be the listener. If one thing that I've experienced that seems to be sort of present in every culture, no matter where you end up, is that people love talking about themselves. And as long as you lend them an ear, someone willing to listen, people will talk your ear off. Not literally, of course, but yeah.
Can both of you roll a perception check, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Perception.
That's a nat 1. Adonis staring into his own hands.
That's a 12. I'm kind of focused on trying to explain this.
He's
You
distracted.
hear
He's
a distant howling.
Do I hear a distant howling?
No, only Laron does.
Adeben is very much in like making a little thing with his hands that he does when he's nervous. He's just like assembling a little piece with nuts and bolts.
Yeah. I sort of look behind me for a moment, listening to the howls before I turn back to you as you're about to say something.
Well, did you hear something? Sorry, I got distracted. I'm just making this thing. It helps me focus. I understand. I've read about it. I understand the theory, like theoretical part of conversating. It's just when people look at me, she like stops a little bit, breathes a little. I get very nervous and stressed, and I can't find, like, I have the words in my head, but they won't come out the way I want it, and it just turns into me stammering or something. I don't know why. It's just I feel like I'm dying when people talk to me, and people look at me for answers. Every time in the palace or something, if like a servant came up and was like, "Oh, what would you like?" I'd just sort of yelp and run the other way. Or hobble, I guess. I don't like talking to people, Laron, and I don't know if I'll ever be good at it.
You don't... Brother, I think you've misunderstood. I'm not asking you to be good at something you clearly don't feel comfortable with. All I'm asking you to be is perhaps just be a listener. Be someone just willing to lend an ear. You don't have to say anything. Just showing the fact that you're willing to listen is sometimes more than enough. And can I teach you a little trick? Something that I remember Dad taught us when we were growing up.
Sure.
You remember, we've always been taught to look another person in the eye when they're talking. I imagine the eye contact probably makes you feel quite nervous, yes? Yeah. As stupid as this sounds, just look at the person's nose while you're talking. Don't look them in the eye, just look at the person's nose, like the bridge of their nose. It works wonders. I'm telling you, it'll work the next time you talk to someone. Just look at the bridge of their nose instead of looking them in the eyes. It looks like you're looking them in the eyes, but it also takes away that feeling of pressure, if you will, if you're looking someone directly in the eyes while talking to them. That is not a good roll. Oh no.
You hear a thunderous noise as something jumps out from the tree.
Can I like manage to react in time?
Yeah, how do you react?
What I was gonna say, in what direction and what is jumping out and in from where?
It's dark. It's a full. It is currently a full major moon. Sultana is in full phase, and it jumped from this tree, right here.
Well, both of us being tieflings have dark vision.
Yes, you see a horned mannish figure with torn plant-like robes, but his face is distorted with animal characteristics. The tiger stripes across his body are thicker, and fur has appeared across most of his upper body. Fangs are borne in your direction, and his legs have become digitigrade as he growls.
Could Adeben make a... I mean, considering we can see that it is Iskoreal, just...
You don't know it's Iskoreal. Looks...
He has all of his features, though. He has the same tiger stripes, the same skin, the same horns, the same clothes.
Well, he doesn't have the same features. His face looks like a tiger right now.
Yeah, but everything else looks exactly like our brother.
Yes.
Yeah, so could Adeben make some sort of roll as to if this is about what this is? What's going on here? If he has cast a spell on himself to like prank us, or if he's
yeah, you can.
Transformed or something. I don't know what it would be.
Insight.
Insight. Okay. Number 1. That's a nat 1. Second one, guess, is a 16.
Yeah, this doesn't look like a prank. He looks pretty aggressive. His bright blue eyes are kind of fixed at you in an aggressive manner. A territorial one.
Does.
What?
Laron just sort of points at him and just goes, stun, and I cast Power Word Stun.
What do I need to roll?
Nothing. You can't roll. He's out.
Yeah, he's stunned.
Wait, I mean, let's double check, just to make sure that
I believe he gets to make a save, and he needs to make a Constitution saving throw at the end of his turn.
If the target has 150 points off you, it's stunned. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, as a were-tiger, he has more than that.
Okay.
So do I roll, or
that feels like a waste in that case. All right.
Again, you can't know that, and sometimes spells get wasted. That's just the reality of life.
And if he has above 150 health, then
can I do something?
Yes.
Can Adeben do something? Give me a dex save 23. It's very calming, very nice, relaxing music.
This is really what I needed, because I'm like,
so since he has an additional for when he's in werewolf form, that's gonna.
Does he have a plus 16?
No.
Additional? Does he have a
no,
plus
he doesn't.
19? Yeah. Because otherwise that force a fail.
Okay.
So as you go stun, and that don't work. Adeben takes both hands to the side and has like basically a metal, like 2 halves of a metal ball in each, and clamps them together, and you just see like a bubble wrap around him and floats like 5 feet in the air.
He begins scratching at the side of the bubble.
He's neutralized for at least 10 minutes. Walks over to inspect. Yeah, that's...
He pounces at the wall to the best of his ability and then just gets recoiled.
That looks like... Laron, this looks like Isko, doesn't it?
It does. Is he aware of something now? What happened?
Can I make a roll to figure out if he's like a were is he if he's a were tiger?
You don't need a roll. It is quite obvious he's a were-tiger. The issue is you have never heard of a tiefling contracting lycanthropy before.
Would I know? Would Adeben know when this could have happened?
It happened at the wedding.
No, well, that's a possibility, but presumably he's had PTSD and other symptoms, like strange behaviors for the past 2 years since he returned from the southern lands.
This is very frightening and at the same time very fascinating. This is...
Do I need to put him in a force cage or something?
Maybe in 10 minutes. This is... because that's when this runs out. I mean, this is a genetic marvel, really. This shouldn't be possible. For a tiefling to contract any... just like walking around it. To contract lycanthropy. That's unheard of. In any of the books I've read.
Do you know if we can cure him in some way? Like, can I knock him out and then we can cure him?
Okay, do I know if there's a cure for lycanthropy?
That would be a nature or medicine check.
Alright, I'll do nature. 14 or... yeah, 14.
With that 20, I know, with the 21, you would know that there is no known cure except for basically divine, semi-divine intervention. Lycanthropy, once it has gotten to the point where transformations actually occur, cannot be treated.
Well, we'd have to call Granddad, I think. And he'd have to call... Laron, I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired. I can't remember my religious studies. What's the god of the beasts again? Thurniel's son?
Hyena?
Revere.
No.
Revere? I can't remember either.
Yeah, Revere. If Granddad could call him, he would probably be able to fix it, being sort of the one lording of this, but I don't understand how Isko let this go. This could have been stopped way before, but now that he's been transformed, it would need godly intervention, really.
It seems...
I'm still confused as to how this has happened. This shouldn't be possible. Takes some notes in his books, in his notebook. This is very strange. Is he still trying to?
Yeah, he is.
Us through the ball.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's obviously not in control. Should we try talking to him and see if he can get him to recognize us? You probably know more about this than I. I haven't really seen any lycanthropes in the palace.
Would he count as a monster or as a humanoid?
Humanoid.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Charm Person on him in that case.
Alright.
Yeah, I need him to make a DC 21 Wisdom save. But I imagine, because he's a were-tiger, he doesn't roll that high with his save in that case.
That is correct. He is going to roll Wisdom saves at disadvantage in this form.
Haha.
He beats it. Hey, Isko, are you in there?
Laron, What are you doing here?
Why are you trying to kill me and Adeben?
Not trying to kill you. I'm hunting for fruit and eggs.
Why did you pounce at me and Adeben in that case?
I was pouncing at the fruit. It was running away from me.
Hey, Isco, I think you need to... Can you sit down?
Yeah, he kind of lays down on the floor of the bubble.
Shh. Hey, I think you need to fall back to sleep, buddy. You're just having a bad dream.
Why are you two seeing me at night? I told people I don't like to go out alone in full moon. I don't want Adeben, I told you you can visit me anytime except for the full moon.
You sort of came to us. We were just sitting here, and then you jumped out of a tree.
Okay. Isco, hey, look at me, Isco. It's okay. Just fall back to sleep. You're alright.
I don't understand.
Can I sort of like, as I'm talking to him, can I sort of reach out a hand and like very gently as I put a hand on his, I'm gonna cast Calm Emotions as well.
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Just go back to sleep. You'll wake up in the morning and we'll have a little talk about everything. It's gonna be fine. Just good night.
Where's Mama?
Mama's not here right now, but I'm sure you can talk to her tomorrow. Okay? Yeah. Good night, brother. I love you.
I love you both very, very much. Yes. I was hoping you wouldn't see me ugly like this. Begins to fall asleep.
It's fine, really. Well,
I'm gonna teleport him back inside. Do you want a hand?
I was actually quickly. I was going to talk to you about something.
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
I made you a ring.
Oh?
If you want it, it's a magical ring, and I know you're very good at teleports. It'll allow you to teleport anywhere within 30 feet. For about 14 times a day.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. That is going to be very handy.
No problem. You don't have to attune to it because it's made from me. Just so you know, it's as long as my magic is still around, it'll work. And also, I have this thing that I thought would be. I don't know. I don't know. You've spent more time with these people than I have. They seem to be very careless with their security. Frankly, a bit stupid. So I could put up a spell around this area that I made that'll sort of make us unnoticeable by divination, make us sort of difficult to find for people we don't want. It'll make teleportation in impossible, but out possible.
As a,
You think that's a good idea?
I think that's a really good idea. I'll cast some alarm placements around the.
I'll do that. That too. I have a lot of them. I figured also maybe I magically lock the doors because they don't lock their doors here. I don't know. It seems very not smart.
I think all of those are really good suggestions, and I think we should start implementing them as soon as possible. Perhaps not tonight, because
The doors are locked, and they also have a password-protected gate. Isko was inside the house.
Yeah, we know.
We know.
But
Yeah.
in here without the password, it seems. So yeah, okay, I can do it tomorrow morning maybe, but you should keep the ring. It's
Yeah, I put it on my I put it on my right ring finger.
I made it. I hope you like it. It's to sort of resemble a mix between you and your fiance. I know you have other partners just because you're getting married, so it's like a mix of your primary colors. So your blue and hers. I don't know what color she is. Purple. Yeah.
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 Sort of like black purple, yeah.
Yeah, and it has onyx as the sort of crystal to have my magic, because it's very absorbent.
Thank you very much. Do you need a hand to get teleported upstairs? I can bring you there instead of you having to, hobble all the way up the stairs.
Well, I think I'll be fine. Teleports out away from you.
Just teleports after you. You're not getting away from me.
You don't know where I am.
You don't know where I am.
You don't know where I went.
Just sort of standing behind. Brother, I love you, but you really gotta work on those social skills. And I just sort of grab a hold of Isko gently and yoink us upstairs.
Yeah, he's extremely... I mean, he's already pretty muscular, but he's extremely heavy.
Good thing that Laron is also buff as hell.
Yes.
Why are we all ripped except Adeben?
Because Adeben got lung disease when he was a little kid.
Lung disease as well now? I thought I only had a fucking crippled leg. You just keep making my boy even more and more fucked up.
Anyway,
first he was weak bone, and now he has fucking lung cancer as well.
You don't have it. You don't have it anymore because you're alive. If you still had it, you would be dead.
Oh, okay. I see.
You did have a specific disease, and part of it was respiratory. That's why you can't move very fast either.
I have a plan, McCarthy.
By the way, guys, ignore Adeben's 20 dexterity score.
I'd assume that's mechanically enhanced. He's probably added, without his mother's permission, things to his own joints.
It's tattoos. He's a tattoo artificer.
Oh.
Most of his shit is tattoos. He just knows machines as well.
Yes.
He's on trend.
Yeah. We talked about this. So
yes.
It's
all good. It's all good. It's all good. But we are going to be cutting here today.
All right.
With that big reveal that didn't get as much reaction as I was hoping, because that was a big reveal.
My friend with the brothers, are they gonna go, oh my god, he's a monster, run away?
No.
He's a monster.
No, yeah. But they acted like brothers still, but like it was still like, this is shocking. You've never heard of a tiefling getting lycanthropy ever.
I mentioned that like 4 times.
Yes, fair enough. Anyway, we'll talk about this after we get off. Sorry, viewers. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you as always to my lovely players. Unfortunately, Jai left early today due to internet issues. He will be back next time. Hopefully, Elmara is back as well. We are actively looking for new cast members, so if you are interested, please reach out to me on YouTube or Twitch, and I will do a small interview process, not very long. And you may be able to become part of the Nightmares Incarnate franchise.
Boy.
That was really rude. I put a lot of effort into this shit. Fuck you, Christopher.
Be a part of our shit show. Come
yes.
on.
But
well, the plot is good, but the cast is a little bit.
We suck, but the plot is good.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, we'll be back next time where they're gonna have to explore the cemetery and do Hayano's errand and some other things and make a fake statue.
Adeben makes the fake statue now. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, remember, if you comment and subscribe to Permeating Dusk on YouTube, you are going to be able to enter and like the video and enter into the contest to win one of these 3 books. Like, I will set, if one person wins them all, that they win them all, but I'll be doing a random drawing. So yeah, please do that. And also, I want to thank the artists who make Nightmares Incarnate, A Conspiracy of Demons possible, particularly Caribou, Principles 1212, as well as others, including Garioth, and there's just so many artists who have worked on this. Easy Menendez. Please go check them out on Fiverr. And if you have time, consider looking at Rob / Elmara's Start Playing Games. He's a great GM. He's more combat oriented than I am, but he does great stories with excellent NPCs. He also knows the rules far better than I do, but you know, I play it a bit fast and loose, so I would definitely recommend him. Very good DM. And Blaine or Casper, is there anything you would like to plug?
Jesus, what the fuck?
Yeah, my IG is that.
Call your local senators and vote for legalize nuclear bombs.
Okay. Anyway, thank you. Thank you again, and we will see you next Thursday, Brisbane time. Wednesday, literally anywhere else in the world.
Bye. Bye.